In this video, you will discover the 5 tests to know if a man is right for you. Hi, I'm Antia, founder and creator of the Magnetize Your Man Method, and I invite you to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel so you get more juicy videos coming your way. So let's go ahead and dive right in. Test number 5 is, does he follow up his words with actions? I cannot tell you how many women come to me every single day of the week, that's right, even Sundays, and tell me, well, Antia, but he told me that he loves me. But Antia, he told me that he's moving in with me. But Antia, he told me that he's going to introduce me to his family and that his kids would really love me. Well, what I have to say about that is words are schmurts, right? I don't really care about words at all. Now, I know some of you have the love language words, which is even worse because you're really responding to the words and you're putting so much emphasis and so much importance onto them, but really you shouldn't. A man of character is measured by his what? His actions. That's right. Now, I know this is a hard pill to swallow, and I'm sure you've heard this before, but a man of character will follow up his words with actions, right? He will back it up. He has integrity. As a matter of fact, I call it king integrity. To give you an example, when I met my husband in Hawaii, yes, in Oahu, so we met in a very romantic place, right? And nobody expected for us to meet and actually get married, right? Because that's not what you expect when you meet in Hawaii. But when we met, the first night, my husband told me that I'm the girl of his story. Now, men love to tell stories all day long until the cows come home. They always like to tell you you're the always wanted, never expected miracle. It doesn't really matter. Does he follow up on it? So my husband literally did follow up on it. He did invite me to his place 2 days later where we had another date, and he called me again and he followed up again and he asked me out again over and over until he basically committed his love to me and until he proposed marriage to me. So that's what this really looks like when a man is right for you. Test number 4 is he initiates. It's the initiation test. And this is important for so many different reasons. For one, you really want to make sure you're not dealing with a beta male, because if you're watching this video, you're more than likely an alpha female who's very accomplished, very driven, and can very much hold her own in the world, right? But the problem with that is that you attract a lot of beta males that are normally not right for you. Why is that? Because they feed into patterns that you're used to from your childhood, that you have to take care of yourself, that you can't rely on anyone else, and that there's certainly nobody there to support you. A man who's right for you will actually signal to you that there is someone to support you, that there is someone who actually pursues you, and that you are worthy and to be cherished and to be taken care of. Now, this of course happens with an alpha male, right? So the alpha male actually has that momentum, that drive, and yes, that wild man energy inside of himself that he wants to initiate. He takes pride in it. As a matter of fact, he would feel extremely emasculated if you were to initiate. So I know this is a hard pill to swallow again, to ask you to lean back and to really trust that the right man will initiate. I cannot tell you how many stories I have heard. Look, before I met my husband, I had a man who didn't even like the US, and he wanted to fly all the way. Well, he had already booked his ticket for the conference, wanted to fly all the way from Germany to the US, which he hated, by the way, and he already booked his ticket and his hotel room in California to be close to me. So men will initiate if he is right for you. Test number 3, if he's right for you, is he holds his own. Now, funny story, after my husband and I were dating for maybe a couple of weeks, I tested him. Now, we women always test. Now, whether we're aware of it or not, that's a different story. But nevertheless, we are testing men. And so what I did was, well, you know what? I know how to wrap this man around my finger. I know how I can get my own way, right? So what I ended up doing is, now mind you, he was working from 9 to 5. He was like on his own entrepreneurial journey, which, by the way, nobody held him accountable to other than himself, right? So he put on his own timeline. So I was like, oh, I'm just going to interrupt him. And I'm just going to say, hey, let's go on a walk, or let's make out. It's the middle of the day. Let's take a break, right? And I just wanted to kind of like get my own way, right? This is what I wanted. And what my husband ended up doing, boyfriend at the time, was he really interrupted me. And he said, no, remember, I told you that I'm working from 9 to 5. Now, as you can imagine, I was extremely annoyed by that because, I love to get my own way. However, it did something else for me. It built a tremendous amount of respect and trust towards this man, because I knew I could not yank him around and that he could hold his own in a relationship in moments where I use all my feminine power to seduce him, and it didn't work. So a quality man, if he's right for you, he will hold his own despite you wanting to seduce him. Test number 2 is he has a high AQ. Now, what is a high AQ? Now, this comes from one of my pastors, Pastor Colin and Higginbottom, like say that 3 times fast, right? But he actually talks about the adversity quotient, right? And so you really want to see, what is your man actually made out of? What I often tell my clients is just go on a weekend road trip with your man and see what he's made out of, because unexpected obstacles will present themselves. Something is going to occur and you will be able to reliably measure his adversity quotient. He's not going to be easily thrown off his game when things don't go his way or they don't go as expected, or if a challenge presents itself. A quality man will actually rise to the occasion and will say, this is my moment to shine, to be there for my queen, to be there for my princess, and actually be there for her, make her feel supported, make her feel taken care of, right? So good example for that is actually seeing how a man is dealing with a challenge. Is he getting aggravated, right? Does he start blaming you, right? Does he actually collapse and has little resources? Or if he has a high AQ, a high adversity quotient, right? He has a lot of resources inside of himself. He knows how to solve the problem. Maybe if it's a new, innovative way, but he actually can create a solution that, of course, makes you feel safe and taken care of. And finally, test number 1 is, do you feel safe with him? Now, and I wanted to put that as the last one because sometimes we can end up with men that we feel safe with, but we're not attracted to. So I wanted to create the attraction building traits first, right? Like I said, I was attracted and respected my husband so much when he can hold his own, right? But I also felt safe, right? And safe also in that sense that I can be honest with him, that I can be transparent with him, that I can show all of myself, right? When we feel safe, we can actually fall apart. Now, I actually fell apart within a few weeks of meeting my husband because I had a weak evening and I didn't feel resourced at all, and a lot had occurred that day, and I really hit a wall. So he got to see all of me because I felt safe in his presence. Another indication for me that he was right for me. Now then, of course, also to see the positive response from him when I was quote unquote falling apart, right? And when I was collapsing, and actually seeing that he's there for me. He can actually hold a container. He calls it a fence, right? A real man can hold a fence. So all the wind and the storm can go through, but the fence doesn't move, right? So I also call him, he's my greenhouse, right? I'm the plant and he's the greenhouse, and he makes sure that I have the right nutrients, right? So that was test number 1. How safe do you feel? If you like this video, I invite you to check out my free playlist course on how to make a man chase you right below this video, or hop on over to magnetizeyourman.com or simply click that link below so you can take my free Magnetize Your Man quiz, in which you get personalized dating strategy and advice. Ladies, this is it for today. I hope you enjoyed this video. I'll talk to you soon. Much love. Bye-bye.